machine started off as really just a machine for replenishing out pieces. So, thank you. So, traditional coach builders, they would build everything with the stump, kind of like we were just doing over there. That's where they'd shape everything and stump in a shop bag. And then they started to develop this thing, and really it was kind of a rotary hammer. So that's really the best way to kind of think of this machine is imagine if this was a hammer, but every time you roll it through, that's kind of like a hammer blow that's working through that piece. So you can plunge with this, which is what we're going to be doing today, but you can also just simply stretch with this. And I might grab this and just do a quick little stretch demonstration so you can see that not only are we going to be able to plunge with this, but you can also get some shape. So I'm going to really crank this up a little harder than you normally would.
How much pressure you putting on?
This I have quite a bit of pressure, more than I normally would, just to kind of show how you can get the shape with it. But yeah, it's hard to kind of explain because it's not like the power hammer, you know, where Mike can just tell you, hey, this is exactly what my stroke was set at and all that. It kind of just gets down to a feel thing, but what I would say is having a little bit lighter pressure and doing more passes with it normally ends up a lot better for you. So you can see like this, like I said, a lot tighter than I would normally do. I just wanted to show real quick for demonstration how we can get it to shape. But you can see how that's puffed up like that in the center. So when we're doing this, not only are we going to be punishing this out, but it's also going to be stretching it a little bit as well, which is why we need to stay conscious of how much we wheel out towards the edges. So we're going to need to wheel just a little bit because we have some stuff in here that we need to plenish, but we don't want to do it too much because all those shrinks that we just did, if we start to stretch that back out again, we're going to start to lose all of our shrinks and all of our shape that we put into this panel. So put this in here. Now that we're trying to work the walnuts out and all these little dents out, I'm going to have really light pressure. We're just going to kind of work this thing back and forth. You can hear it going through all those dents. I'm just going to work out this little area here, and then I'll pass the piece around so you can kind of see how we're starting to work out the dents here.
Same guys for steel, aluminum, and stuff.
Yep. Alright, so it's not all the way worked out quite yet. We still got some more wheeling to do, but I'll pass this piece around, and then you can kind of feel from where we have our lumpy walnuts from the sandbag, and then you can feel over here to where that English wheel is starting to plenish out those dents.
You're going to change directions. Obviously, you're going straight across, but with a long piece like that, can you benefit by going long as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for this one, I'll probably end up going both ways.
So it's not going to shape it too much.
No.
It's just taking out the.
Yeah, and that actually, while that's getting passed around, then I'll talk about the difference between this steel upper wheel and then this rubber wheel that we have over here. So the steel wheel, just like we were talking about, we're going to end up stretching with that. So just how this piece did here, we're actually increasing the surface area. We're thinning out the metal. And so that's going to create that compound shape, which is curving in two directions. With this rubber wheel that we have here, this is a vulcanized rubber wheel. So this one's really nice because the rubber's just already on it. But what you'll see a lot of guys do, like what I do at home, is I just have an old inner tube from a tire, and I wrap that around my wheel. And so what the rubber does is same kind of conversation about why we like to use the wood, is it has that little bit of give to it. And so when you put the rubber wheel in there, we're not going to be stretching, we're only going to be bending it one direction, which will be whatever direction that your lower anvil is here. So that's super helpful for, like, imagine if you have, where I've used it a bunch, you're building a truck and somebody wants a custom roll pan that comes down. That's a super long piece that needs to stay straight in one direction, but curve down this way. And so you could do something like that in a slip roll. But my thing with slip rolls is it's a lot harder to have that changing radius curve in there to get it to be completely right. And also, in theory, when you have a wheel like this, I mean, you could have an infinitely long piece, you know. So I've had a whole, imagine how wide a F100 truck bed would be, and you can start to wheel that whole thing out and not curve it the other way.
Works great for tree bark as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, if you imagine, so like, again, the kind of curve we're talking about that rubber wheel will do is literally just this form. Like what I just did there, that's all it is just form, bending it over in one direction. But with that, you're able to, like, imagine, like, he was talking about the tree bark. To get that curve to be where it fits nice and tight, trying to get in here and bend it with your fingers is possible, but it gets a lot more difficult, or just over the side of the bench, you know? So the cool part about that is I'll kind of like get it started kind of where my curve needs to be, and then I'll come in with the rubber die and the hard lower and start to refine it and get it to fit just perfectly. Cool. All right, where's Ken at? You're running the wheel. Yeah, Ken's my sandblaster at home, so he's one of the people that helps us build all these cars. So yeah, go for that. So then just put it in the wheel here. Yep. So you can kind of start to work out some of this area over there. So put that in there, and we'll tighten this up. That's probably there. So another thing about this that Ken's probably realizing is when you're in the English wheel, it's almost like backing up a trailer. It gets a little bit to get used to. So kind of your motion, it's kind of like a bunch of Z's to be able to move across the panel. So you kind of, a really exaggerated, I mean, you can see the kind of Z shapes I have here. So a really exaggerated version of it is you're going to pull this way, turn this way, turn this way, turn this way, and so you're able to move across the panel. Yep. Yeah, it's going to end up, it's going to create shape, so it'll end up curving it both ways a little bit. But yeah. Yep.
Any reason you wouldn't use the more squared off lower anvil?
Yeah, so when you use the more squared off lower anvil, and then you have a piece with a lot of shape like this, can I see that real quick, Ken? So what you'll have happen is what is called the railroad tracks. So if you see this here, I'll pass this around so everybody can see it, but when you put this in here, the only two parts of the thing that are touching are these two corners, and the center's not touching, and so you'll just have these big railroad tracks that kind of go throughout there, so you can see that. So that's why a lot of times what you'll do is as you start to build up shape in a panel, you'll actually kind of work your way through the lower anvils. So you have less shape in a panel. You can kind of start with one that has a lower crown to it, again, to kind of increase the amount of surface area that's touching the panel. And then as it starts to get more and more shape, then you start to need to move up to a more higher radius anvil. All right, who's next? Who wants to do this out?
Now, would you come close to the edge, or would you turn it sideways and do,
Yeah, so for this, because we still have our little pieces in there, I would come close to the edge just a little bit. But like we were talking about before, you know, you kind of gotta limit how much you go to the edge, or at least be conscious of that, because you will start to stretch it back out. But I mean, it'd be no different than taking it over one of those plunging hammers over there and punching out the edge. It's gonna do the same thing. It's metal on metal, and so it's gonna stretch it back out a little bit. But you're just kind of relaxing everything that is there. But if you sat there and you wheeled too much on just the edge and not enough in the center, then you'd start to lose some shape.
It isn't rusty.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of wants to do its own thing there.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a little bit of getting used to.
Get that Z down.
Yep.
So it's stretching on top and shrinking the bottom.
Yeah. So what you want to do is you to create that shape, you want it to all kind of come in like this, you know. And so when you do that, you want all of the edges to shrink and the center to stretch. And so if you shrink all of this edge here, and then you start to stretch it back out, your shape's gonna start to relax. And so that'll actually be, I mean, remember, you know, there's only 3 things you can do to it, because that's actually something that you'll use on purpose sometimes, because if you shape a panel, let's say, and you go, oh, I put too much curve into it, stretch out the edges, and you'll start to work the shape down a little bit.
You gotta do the staggered stops too,
Mhm.
you know.
Noah, can
One
you
punch
explain
up at the end.
Again, real quickly, the benefit of the vulcanized rubber.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can pull it out real quick and show you guys too, a little demonstration. So, and this can be, so the vulcanized rubber one that Baileigh makes here is like really, really nice. You can use just a piece of inner tube on your hard upper wheel, just something that gives it a rubber cushion. So we eliminate that stretch from happening. But if you've ever used rubber band on a wheel, you understand why this is so nice, because the rubber band likes to work in cycle. There she goes. Okay. So we'll use this panel here. So you can see how this is where I did with the steel, and you can see it's that compound shape, so it's curving this way and this way. We've stretched it out. We've increased the surface area. With this, like I said, all we're doing is just bending it. This is just a fancy bending tool, is all it is. Just form. So we'll come in here, and you'll start to see this curve over. And like I said, that's kind of where I was saying, the amount of time we're not going to have like a super refined piece. And that's kind of just because before we get into what Mike and Nick and those guys have to say, I kind of want to just get the basics down of you know, shrinking and stretching and kind of understand these basic concepts. Because then when they move into their demonstrations, then everything's going to make a lot more sense. So see how we have that curve there? That wasn't me bending down on it at all. Let me grab another square piece so we can see that. I was not pulling down on it at all. I'll even just do it with my fingertips here, and you'll see just by sending this through here.
Do you ever push down to help encourage that bend, or
No.
just let the wheel do it all?
Yeah, it's just not needed. If I have something, like I said, with a lot of bend, I might kind of bend it over my knee before I go into the wheel. But now imagine something where we have like a changing radius curve, you know, like again, I go back to that roll pan thing, an F100 roll pan, it kind of starts off a little flatter and then really swoops in. So let's say if we have that amount of curve there, and now let's come into an area where we have a lot of curve. I'm just gonna stick and work in the same area.
more passes rather than more pressure.
Exactly. Yeah, especially with this one, you can really, I mean, even just this right now, it's, I line there a little bit. It's getting a little bit of traction, but yeah, more passes and lighter pressure. And be patient, take your time. It'll get there. And then it'll kind of fade off this way. A little bit of a lighter curve. Yeah, you can see how much shape that's putting in there.
Is the tracks just a natural part, or is that too much pressure, or?
Probably a little bit too much pressure, like I was saying, yeah. I want to show you guys it bending over quickly, but yeah. Lighter pressure and more passes is always better when you're actually building your panel and you want it to be nice. But you can see how we have that changing radius curve in there. So, curving this and then really starts to come in. So, yeah, the vulcanized wheel is super nice. Does anybody want to try that? What's that? Yeah, you want to try it? Let's get you a new piece. These square ones too is where it's really good to practice your lines. So,
What is that material? Okay.
Mitch, you know?
I think it's 18 gauge.
With this, you can pass all the way through, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, totally good point. Yep. Yeah, so what he's talking about is, whereas before when I was talking about with when you're shaping and you're stretching out that center, that you want to stay away from the edges because you don't want to stretch your edges back out. But with this, we're not stretching at all. So you can go all the way through, and a lot of times I will go all the way through because you want that curve to go all the way through the edge and not just stop in the middle of the panel. Yeah, so let me see that real quick. So we're just gonna go, in like this, and now we want to go that way. So we're gonna turn it that way, and we'll pull it this way. We want to keep going this way, so now we'll turn it that way. And this is obviously a really, start off really exaggerated to get yourself in the mindset. Later on is when you can practice and get your Z's to be really tight. But you just,
Yeah, you can see the panel
Yeah.
like that. It's so subtle.
yeah, it's like backing up a trailer. You gotta get your brain working.
Yeah, I confuse it sometimes.
How much time do we have, Mitch?
15 minutes.
Okay. Mhm. Does anybody else want to try the two-dimensional bend, or we can go back to plunging out the gas tank, or we can just go back to that?
Grab one of the rubber mallets.
Make a nice salmon, Bob. I like the sea turtles too. Those are cool.
I got it. There we go. All right, go for it. And if anybody else wants to try, just hop up here. Especially the yeah, tighten this up a little.